Hello everyone, and welcome. Man, what an arc so far. The party has a clear plan moving forward, and it's time to see what they're up to. I'm your host Darrian, and I won't waste time tonight. Let's get to it. Off to Calduth we go. There was some more touching conversations between Moren and Jostle steps in to check on the Norvosi. Sayoka. Vand, the young man from Emmonsfield that would be the Dragon Reborn, tells his cousin Ferredin that he has no choice but to make his way to Calduth, so any decisions or argument about their course of action were cut pretty short, once Vand was given an opportunity to tell them all how he felt about everything. Given a few days to prepare, Jostle finishes her book, Learning the Traveling Weave. Exciting. Now there's a group of adventuring louts with a portal spell traipsing about my lands. Can't wait to see how this can go horribly wrong at just the right times. A group of Shienaran soldiers accompany the party, who watch Gitara Adalorna leave the keep. There's a feeling that this Red Sister turned Amerlin could be a potential thorn in their sides if the party does not mind themselves around her. It's a good time for both the Amerlin and the party to go their separate ways, as the Aes Sedai and her company are starting to ask some questions about them all, and that's not a good thing for anyone. So, the party collects their gear and hightails it out of Faldara, headed to the city of Calduth. Calduth is located in the southern reaches of New Age Randland, on the southeastern coast near the Bay of Chaos. This is a huge undertaking, with the entire journey taking the party over 1,100 miles to complete, and several nations to cross along the way. Luckily for them, Jostle, the channeler formerly known as Gina, recently put out a new hit single, Traveling the Weave. They decide to walk for some of the distance, doing their best to avoid notice as they use a weave lost to Aes Sedai since the breaking. Gitara Adalorna, Watcher of the Seals, the Flame of Tarvalin, the Amerlin seat may have thought that Kisora Tagar and Arala Aldine were both promising finds as initiates to the White Tower, and maybe even believed that they were born with two of the strongest sparks seen by the tower in nearly 1,000 years. But they're still not sisters, not even novices yet. The Aes Sedai don't have much time to devote to the two, and Arala and Kisora are both given direction to the tower, as well as a Shienaran escort. Borderlanders wouldn't let Aes Sedai leave unprotected, or anyone connected to the tower as closely as these two women most obviously are. The two soon-to-be initiates of the tower travel with the party and their guard of 10. They travel for a few days, during which Ferredin and Zakub discover that Gaidris actually is somewhat like the Aielman. Although, he doesn't have a tail for certain. At least, not yet. Zakub tells Ferredin that Gaidris is young bull, and seems to think that this means something important. As Ferredin and Zakub talk, the monkey begins to give the impression yet again that he was once something other than a monkey, through scents and feelings and faded, fleeting memories that he passes on to our dual-wielding spear brother. Ferredin and Guy begin to talk about their ability, and the name of a man that Gaidris met on his travels is mentioned. This man helped guide him through the beginnings of becoming a wolf brother. On their travels, Beric and Pell begin to talk. Beric is always going out of his way to check on the Emmonsfielders, particularly the lads, and Pell and he have a pretty fun time usually. As they talk, Beric notices Pelham slipping in and out of Dwarvish and the Old Tongue, and Common Tongue as well, without any real knowledge of what he does the entire time. As he talks with Beric, he thanks the dwarf for helping him to get out of the city of Tarvalin, back at the start of the campaign. He is clearly untrusting of any ageless face, and Beric tries to convince Pell to make a change, and begin to trust Selenia, if not all Aes Sedai. Needless to say, our young gambler and rambler did not like that bit of advice. He just wants to get out, see the world, sit away from all that's troubling him and the world right now. Gaidris and Van don't really seem like they're going to be of much help to him, not if he wants to actually get away from all that's around them. But he likes Beric well enough. After all, the two of them usually end up drinking until Pelham passes out in his porridge, so what's not to like about him? Along the way, Jostle has a discussion with the two women going off to the tower, and Eilon talks with everyone he can in order to record what they know about the events leading up to the Emmonsfielders' encounter with the Shadow and the Blight, just a few weeks past. Speaking with Arala first, he finds out that there was a Gleeman with their party, but he is gone now. She seems a little sad about this. She liked the Gleeman's stories and his music. At a place of great evil and darkness known as Shadar Logoth, their party was split up. Not finding the presence of that great evil, the Trollocs and Fades forced their hand as they retreated from the city. Mashadar, that great evil mist that inhabits the city and gave life to the hate and evil that destroyed Aradhal, one of the 10 nations allied with each other after the breaking of the world. Just Trollocs, and enough to split the party up. It seems that their path was pretty similar to the events in the first book, with a few small variations. Talking with Vand, Eilon and the young man commiserate over what's happening to them both, once Vand discovers the young elf's channeling capabilities. Vand seems very worried that he could hurt someone with what he can do, and Eilon tries to tell him that practice can begin to teach Vand control over Saidin, and even offers to begin teaching the young man how to wield the power. Vand seems determined not to touch Saidin again and refuses to be taught at this time. Jossel's discussion with Arala and Kasora was met with a mixed bag of results. Trying to convince the two women not to become victims of the White Tower, she even tells them that they don't have to go if they do not wish. There are other options, though she isn't quite clear on what those options are. Telling them that the tower is full of harsh taskmasters who will order their steps as surely as they will punish them quite harshly for any deviation from the established tower way, she tries to convince them to abandon the tower. With little success. They do agree, however, to take Jossel up on her offer of training. As I've mentioned before, Jossel, known in past summaries as Gina, is a bit of a maverick, a rebel, a bit of a fox in the henhouse. Jossel is a woman after Matt Cawthon's own heart sometimes. So, knowing that this will likely set Kasora on edge, Jossel starts flirting with her. She just loves to stir the pot. On the travels, Maestrom decided to talk with Vand. Having expressed a desire to see the shepherd begin to make his own choices, the Blade Master from Shinar wanted to see where the young man from the Two Rivers was landing and everything that he had come to learn about the world in recent weeks. Congratulating the shepherd on doing his duty, Mace let him know that they are somewhat aware of his true nature and who he is. Vand is on edge at this, and hearing that they know who he is, what he is, sets him on the defensive. Vand asked Maestrom if they were another string to tie him to the Aes Sedai, something he confesses a great deal of fear for. Selenia has done her part to cement that fear. Leaving Vand instructions with the Order to follow them to the letter, she threatens him with her information on his existence. If he doesn't move as she directs him, she will inform the Tower of him, and set Aes Sedai to dogging his heels forevermore. Yikes. He's even more worried about hurting the people around him, people he cares for. He tried pushing away Pal and Guy, said some awful things to them, and they just stuck closer. We end up finding out about dreams the boys are starting to have, dreams that show a man clad in blood-red robes and has a face like a furnace, with eyes of fire. That's right, old Balzaman is still around, lurking, creeping on dreams, stirring up drama, the huge. During a morning meeting over breakfast, Beric decides to talk with the party about his identity again. Though they know who he is, he feels that his acts, and thereby his lineage, should be kept hidden from view until they are in his nation and ready to deal with that quagmire. As Sayoka takes Ferretin aside to explain to him the intricacies of Wetlander politics and why they can't just barge up to the stone with Beric and his axe and move on, everyone gets a bit of an understanding of where we're going and where we intend to go after Kalduth is dealt with. But that's just me and the group collectively getting ahead of our wagons again. Irala and Eilon have another discussion a few days after the elf first questioned her about the events before the party met the Emmonsfielders in the Blight. After hearing Eilon play music along the daily march and at camp every night, Irala wanted to thank the young channeler, bringing him a wreath of flowers as a way of thanking him for the music. The group, the Shinaran guards, and the party all begin to pile on, making jokes and whooping and whistling. They all begin to succeed in embarrassing both the elf and the Emmons Fielder. The night settles in and they bed down for the night. Taking their time to talk over camp, the party notices that they're starting to get along, to become closer. As they each sound off on how they feel about the progress of their journey, and they rib Sayoka for developing a crush on Kisora, the wisdom from Emmons Field, they prepare for the next day. After telling the leaders of the Shinaran Guard about the plan to use the horn to deceive the tower, the Dark Friends, and everyone else for the safety of the horn, they prepare for a long and arduous task ahead of them. Selenia is yet again ordering their steps from afar, and soon they'll be behind enemy lines, deep in the heart of a city they don't know. The mood of the group is hopeful, though. Well, that's it, everyone. The pattern has been saved. The wheel of time will turn forevermore, and we don't have to do these. Wait, no, that's not right. We still got around 2 years of this crap to get through. Tune in next time for another installment of this gripping saga of the party that saved the pattern from themselves. I'm your host, and this has been Giraffivores. Taishar, everyone.